Hi everyone, I hope your revision is going all fine from the upcoming exam, which is IIT JEE, CBSE and NEET. So what do we have discussed in the last class? We were discussing the stereoisomerism, which had two parts, one configurational and other one conformational. Let me just revise it for you. So stereoisomerism we were discussing, which has been further divided into two categories. One which we had discussed was conformational and the other one was configurational. So we had discussed a very classic example of ethane molecule here. So ethane molecule was discussed in the terms of Newman projection formula. Secondly, we had discussed about the two types of configurational isomers, which is geometrical and what was the other one which is of utmost important? It is optical isomerism, which we have to discuss in very detail. Now, I have brought certain structures for you. Let me just show you. This is ethane molecule, and as I had discussed, one really important thing in the conformational isomers was this has free rotation. I hope you all remember this free rotation about the sigma bond. Free rotation about sigma bond. So, how can I depict the free rotation? See, let's just assume these are the two carbons in the black and these are the hydrogens. Now, with this single sigma bond, I can rotate the whole structure like this. Can you see it's getting rotated? I hope it's clear. So, these are the different conformations. I can rotate it like this. So, this is a different conformation. Again like this, a different conformation. So, I can attain infinite number of conformations with this single bond about this sigma bond. Now, moving on to the geometrical isomerism, which I had discussed yesterday, which was it had restricted rotation about pi bond. So we had discussed the two kind of orbitals which are involved, the two kind of overlapping. One was head-on overlap for the sigma bond, the other one was the pi bond which had lateral overlapping. So let's just assume that this is the kind of a bond. This lemon thing over here, just imagine that this is the double bond. So if there is a double bond over here, I cannot rotate the two carbon atoms, this will break. Yes, just like this chalk, the bond will break. So in geometrical isomerism, there is restricted rotation about the pi bond. I cannot rotate the bonds over here. So in geometrical isomerism, what do we have is cis-trans isomerism. So let me discuss that. Geometrical isomerism, also known as cis-trans isomerism, which is so we already know and we have read this concept in the earlier standard, which is of cis and trans conformations. So, let me just show you through this example. I am taking the example of but 2-ene. It is the basic example to show cis-trans isomers. See, now, can you see this? The bulkier groups, the identical groups are on the same side. So, this isomer will be known as the cis isomer. So, just remember that the identical groups should be on the same side. This is known as cis isomer. Let me just draw it for you. So, over here you can see the bulkier groups, or I can say the identical groups are on the same side. I am writing it down, identical groups. Identical groups on same side. Now, so this will be which isomer? Cis. Clear? Now coming on to the trans isomer. Let me just do it for you. Now the identical groups will be on the opposite sides. I am keeping the hydrogens also on the opposite sides. So, I can clearly see the identical groups are on the opposite sides. Identical groups on opposite sides. So, by this structure, how can I show? See, this was cis. Now, I am taking out this identical group and putting it on the opposite side. Now, I have got the trans isomer as well. So, this is the trans isomer. Now, discussing the stability of trans and cis isomer. What about the stability? If the bulkier groups or the identical groups are on the same side, so they will repel more, their electron clouds will repel more, like in this case, electronic repulsions. Let's just imagine that this is the electron cloud and this electron cloud is closer to the other electron cloud, so it will repel more. So, electronic repulsions will be maximum in this case. So, cis isomer will be unstable. Now, coming on to the trans isomer. Over here in this case, there is the electron cloud for this CH3 and the other electron cloud is just the opposite. So, it will have minimum repulsions because the distance is maximum, minimum repulsions. So, what do we conclude from this? Yes, this isomer will be more stable than our cis isomer. So, this will be more stable. I hope you have got it. Now, discussing two very important questions which generally occur in the CBSE exam is, we have discussed the stability. So, the question comes like, which one will be having higher melting point? Which isomer will be having the higher melting point? And the second question which arises is, which will be having higher boiling point? So the first concept which goes on to this is, if I am talking about the melting point, I will be considering the structure as solid. Let's just imagine that these two structures are present as solid. So solids are present because I have to melt a solid to get a liquid. Now coming on to the boiling point, I will be considering these two isomers in the liquid state first of all. This trick is just for the remembering purposes so that you do not lose the concept. Now, I have got it, melting point is associated with the solids and the boiling point is associated with the liquids. Now, how do I apply the concept for the two isomers? Let's just see. Now, coming on to the solids. In solids, actually there is, we all know, intermolecular forces of attraction between what? Between different molecules. So, let me just draw it for you. If I come on to the cis isomer, so let's just imagine these are the molecules, cis isomers, or if I am not drawing a circular pattern, I will draw a shape like that, like this. Just imagine that this is single molecule which has been connected with the other molecule, because I am imagining a solid state in between the molecules. So, the intermolecular forces of attraction is higher and the molecules are closely packed. So, the molecules are closely packed to each other. Now, I am drawing another isomer. So, this kind of a packing will be existing in this molecule, somewhat similar to this, not the exact. Just try to imagine the scenario. Now, coming on to the trans isomer. In trans isomer, the packing will be highly efficient. Let's see how. Because this is a symmetric structure. The opposite groups are identical to each other. So, there will be a symmetric packing, efficient packing, very efficient packing in between the molecules. Let me just draw. Like this. Another molecule can be arranged, we can arrange it like this. So, the molecules can get intact in between each other, not like this scenario where the molecules are slightly far apart. So, which structure will be having the higher melting point? The structure in which the packing is efficient, there is symmetric packing, symmetric stacking of the molecules. In which case is this? Yes, it's the trans. Trans is symmetric. So, it will be having efficient packing. Due to which there will be higher intermolecular forces of attraction. Higher intermolecular forces of attraction. So, I have got the 3 points. Such a simple concept, but I have to use my brain for that, because sometimes students confuse in between the melting point and boiling point. They might be considering these two in liquid state, but for melting point, I always have to consider these isomers first of all in the solid state. Then as soon as you imagine the solid state, you will automatically get on to the packing, the symmetric packing or the unsymmetric packing. So you'll get the answer automatically. Now, coming on to the boiling point, for this I'll have to introduce one more new concept, which is, you all know about dipole moment. Now, considering the dipole moments in these molecules, how will I consider? It's very simple. See, the dipole moment is towards the more electronegative atom. The vector will be pointing towards more electronegative atom. So, in this case, why C double bond is the more electronegative atom? Because this carbon is sp2 hybridized. So, as this carbon is sp2 hybridized, the S character is more than this carbon, which is sp3 hybridized. So, the dipole will point towards the more electronegative atom, which is this carbon, the doubly bonded carbon. Now, similar, we can say it for this. Over here also, it will point out towards the sp2 hybridized carbon. So, the final dipole moment will be pointing out, the final vector, the resultant will be downwards. There is some dipole moment present in this molecule. So, basically what does dipole mean? Actually, dipole is creation of two poles, positive and negative, in a molecule. If there is no dipole moment, there are no poles. So, if I have got no poles in a molecule, then there will be no attraction between the molecules, between one molecule and the other, because for the attraction I have to get positive or negative charges which get connected with the positive and negative charges of the other molecule. So, this molecule finally has a dipole moment. Mu is not equal to 0. Mu is the symbol for the dipole moment. Now, coming on to the trans isomer, I think you have already got it. Yes, the dipole will naturally be pointing out towards the sp2 hybridized carbon, whereas in this case also it will be pointing out towards sp2 hybridized carbon. So, finally the resultant dipole will be, yes, both the vectors will cancel out each other. The dipole will finally be 0. So, there is no poles in between the molecules. Now, how do I apply this concept of dipole to find out the highest boiling point? Let me just write it for you. See, just imagine that these are the cis molecules. So, these are cis molecules arranged in such fashion. So, if the dipole moment is not 0, what happens? There will be, just let us say, there is some dipole moment in this molecule. So, it will have some positive and negative charges. Similarly, this molecule will have positive and negative charges due to the dipole moment. So, it will be like such. So, there will be a certain connection between the molecules like this. I hope you are getting it. So, there is certain connection between the molecules, but as far as trans is concerned, let me just write it, this was cis. Now, coming on to the trans, just imagine that these are trans molecules, and just remember that it is the boiling point that I am asking, so it will be considered in the liquid state. So, these molecules which are arranged are in the liquid state I am talking about. So, these molecules have dipole is equal to 0. So, there will be no charges generated in the molecules. There will be very weak van der Waals forces of attraction, which is weaker than these electrostatic forces of attraction or dipole-dipole interactions. Dipole, we have got another word, dipole interactions. So this dipole-dipole interaction does not exist in trans isomer. There is very weak bonding in between the molecules. So due to the weaker bonding in trans, this will have what kind of a boiling point? Higher or lower? See, to break this weak bonding in between the molecules, I will be requiring less amount of heat because the bonding is very weak. So these molecules will easily get boiled off from the liquid state to the vapor phase. So trans will be having low boiling point. So this will be having lower boiling point and this will be having higher boiling point. Trans isomer. So what is the conclusion that we have discussed till now? Let me just rub it off. The conclusion that we have got from this is that in case of melting point, cis isomer has a lower melting point and the trans isomer is having a higher melting point, whereas in case of boiling point, the cis will be having higher boiling point due to the dipole moment and trans will be having a lower boiling point. This was due to the symmetric packing and this is due to the dipole-dipole interactions. Dipole-dipole interactions. So I hope you are clear with the concept, thorough with the concept. Let's just take another example and try to draw the cis and trans isomers for that. Now I'll be taking up an example of pent-2-ene. Pent means 5 carbon atoms, 2 means at the second position, second carbon, the double bond is attached. Now let me just draw. One, two. The second carbon has the double bond, third, fourth and fifth. Is the valency complete? No. I'm missing out 2 hydrogens here. So this is pent-2-ene. Let me just draw this cis and trans. You must have already got it. So I'll be now drawing cis isomer for it and trans. It will be, first I am taking the double bond, then I will arrange the groups. So the bulkier groups will be on the same side. Which are the bulky groups? The hydrocarbons, the alkyl part, and the non-heavy groups are these 2 hydrogens. So this will be the bulkier groups on the same side and these hydrogens on the other side. This will be the cis isomer like this. This will be the cis isomer. These are identical groups. Now I have to change one group accordingly. So I can just, let me just give it a minute. Yes. Now, so this will be the CH2CH3 part and again this will be the methyl part. So this is ethyl and this is methyl. Now this will be the cis isomer. Now if I transfer this part to here, so I will be getting what? A trans isomer. The bulkier groups, the heavier groups are present on the opposite sides. So let us just draw this. I think you have got cis isomer very well. Coming on to the trans one, this will be the methyl group on one side and the ethyl group on the other side. The hydrogens arranged accordingly. So that's the trans isomer. This is trans and this one is cis. Now let me just take up few examples to illustrate what we have learned. Taking up the examples, certain examples. Before that, I will write the conditions, what we have learned in cis-trans isomerism. So what are the conditions? First, the bulkier groups, bulkier or identical groups. On same side, if they are present on the same side, what do I call it as? Cis isomer. If they are present, the bulky groups are present on the opposite sides, it is the trans isomer. Also, what is the condition? On either side of the double bond, on either side of double bond, on each side of the double bond, there should be non-identical groups present. If the groups are identical, let me just show you. If in this scenario, see like this, yes, now I have put the identical groups on each side of the double bond. So this isomer will not show any cis-trans isomerism. This structure will not show any cis-trans as the identical groups are present on the either side of the double bond. So this is one condition, one very important condition for a structure for a molecule to show cis-trans isomerism. Now, so on either side of the double bond, the groups should be non-identical. I am just highlighting this term. So on either side of the double bond, the groups should be non-identical. Had it been identical, there is no scope of showing cis-trans isomerism. So, and one very obvious condition for cis-trans isomerism is, we all know that it's the presence of double bond. Presence of double bond. This is so obvious. So these three are the conditions. Keeping these conditions in mind, we will answer our queries. Now let me take up the examples. Number 1. First is this. Just try to think upon the questions that I am writing. Second is this. Third. I think you all are getting as per I have written these conditions. So according to these conditions, we can solve these examples. Just let me take up the last one, which is Okay. Now let's just solve it one by one. So keeping these conditions in mind, look at the first example. In first example, one condition has been fulfilled, which is presence of the double bond is fulfilled. Now, what is the first one says? Bulkier or identical groups should be on the same side or on the opposite sides, cis or trans. So, if I am going to arrange it like this, let me just draw you over here. The first one, like this I'll have to draw. So, the bulkier groups or the identical groups should be on the same side. Are they on the same side? No, they are not even on the opposite sides. Which condition does it violate? It's actually the third condition, that is, on either side of the double bonds, the group should not be identical or should be non-identical. On either side of the double bond, the groups are over here, they are identical. So, there is no scope of showing cis-trans isomerism. First one has been done. Now, coming on to the next example. Which kind of a condition does it violate? I can see it very clearly. See, there has been a triple bond over here. So, this presence of this triple bond, the rule has been violated already. The second condition, it does not fulfill. So, this will not show cis-trans isomerism. Okay. Now, the next one, this we have already discussed. What is the name for this compound? It's a very classic example, but-2-ene. Got it? Now, the last one, which condition does it violate? See, I have the bulkier and the lighter groups on the either sides, but I have not completed the statement. Either sides of the double bond, there is no double bond present over here. So, this will show, instead of showing configurational isomer, it will show conformational isomerism. Conformational isomerism, because it has got a single bond like this. So, there is a single bond, it can get rotated very easily and can show infinite number of isomers or conformations possible. So, I hope you all have got these examples. Now, let us move on to one very important nomenclature, which is Ez, and which arises in the case when all the groups present on either sides of the double bonds are non-identical. Then what do we have to do? I hope you all have written. Now, coming on to the Ez nomenclature, very famous and very important from the IIT JEE and NEET point of view. So, this is Ez nomenclature. So, what if all the groups are non-identical? Let me just imagine A, B, C, D. So, what is the condition for Ez nomenclature? The condition is on either side of double bond, numbering is done. Numbering is done on the basis of the atomic numbers. On the basis of atomic numbers. So let's just apply this condition. These are 4 different groups present. On either side of the double bond, or you can say on each side of the double bond, I have to number these groups on the basis of their atomic numbers. The heavier one will get number 1. Let's just say that over here B is heavier, so it will get number 1. A will get number 2. Let's just imagine again this group is heavier, so this will be named as number 1 and this will be numbered as 2. So this is more likely similar to cis configuration. So in this case we don't write cis but we write which is equivalent, that is Z isomer. So I have got the Z isomer, and similarly what about our E isomer? Now let us just again imagine that now this time A is bulkier. So this will be numbered as 1 and this will be numbered as 2. Now this configuration is similar to what? Trans configuration, or I can say not trans but what? The remaining, which is E. So I hope you have got the idea. We will be back with few more examples and illustrations in the next class. Thank you so much.